Hey everyone, Emily Jashinsky here with Federalist. I'm standing on the southern part of Black Lives Matter Plaza, just north of the White House. This is Lafayette Square. Lafayette Square, of course, used to be a really popular gathering space for tourists and people just kind of passing through the area. Right now, it's fenced off and totally empty. You can see this fence actually has had homemade signage and all that kind of stuff on it since late May, early June. It's also here, and what you can see across from me is St. John's Church, which was memorably set on fire. I believe that was in June. Historic church. Of course, President Trump walked through Lafayette Square just behind me here and held the Bible out in front of St. John's Church. That's directly across where I'm standing right now. All fenced in. Some protesters attempted to occupy Black Lives Matter Plaza and had, if you go back on YouTube, you can see documentation of this, basically a tent city set up around the church back in June. That is all gone. It didn't last long, but this weekend, the clashes between police officers and protesters got violent again right here in Black Lives Matter Plaza. Now, it's eerily quiet. And I say that because normally on a summer night, downtown Washington, D.C., this would be teeming with tourists and with locals. There's a lot of popular local bars actually just up on the street where the strip of 16th Street where Black Lives Matter Plaza is. A lot of offices normally around here, but it is eerily silent right now. I'll show you some more of the scene. You can see there's a police presence here. Notably, no sign of protesters tonight. I pull my mask up quickly while some other folks pass by. Here's a look down the street. It's down I Street. Again, it's very quiet. As you can see, here's St. John's Church again. Historic property, totally fenced off. And Black Lives Matter Plaza on this Monday evening in late August is totally empty. I am literally the only person. It's rush hour, mind you, in downtown Washington, and there's just nobody out here. No protesters tonight. Maybe that's because of the rain. Maybe that's because they had their fill over the course of the weekend. As I say, exactly where I'm standing right now, there were some serious, clashes between the demonstrators here and the police just over the weekend. And you can see pretty much every building on this strip of 16th Street is boarded up. And again, I'm very close to the White House. I'm very close to the White House. Just about a couple blocks. You can actually see a beautiful shot of the White House behind me. Look at that. It's a beautiful shot of the White House. And if you've been here to Washington, D.C., surely you've seen the majesty of our historic sites like the White House and the rest of the mall. See the flag standing high behind me there. Oh no, I'm in the shot. There it is. And again, pretty much everything's boarded up. Some things are boarded up and graffitied. I'll show you a little bit of that just up here. Most of this is closed to traffic. Again, very unusual. Pretty decent police size police presence, kind of constantly patrolling this area. You can leave me some questions in the comments if you have any. I'm happy to answer and see what information I can get to you while I'm down here. This is a restaurant that I believe is now since closed, since coronavirus and the protests started. And it is, you'll see, the window coverings have been painted over by demonstrators.
Young lady,
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to ask,
Yes, ma'am.
just so amazing how people react the minute you tell them you're homeless and don't take it personally.
No problem. I'm just so you know, I'm a journalist. I'm live on YouTube right now.
Okay, I don't want to be on YouTube because I feel kind of embarrassed.
Okay, no
But if I
problem.
want to talk about my story, I would have no problem. So I'm gonna make it short.
Sure.
I'm gonna say, considering my good manners, I need one kind heart, just one kind. Everybody says they're on plastic, big deal. Everybody has a phone. I have Venmo, and it's no excuse. I have asked 30, 40 people, and I swear to God, I have yet to find that one kind. I don't smoke or drink. I don't do shelter. I do work, but I have to go to the city to get these out. And the money I make out here, I contribute to where I lay my head. I just need some help. I mean, everybody always wants to be advice in this case. If you're not in this,
Right. Well, what's your Venmo?
see, people take my Venmo, and then I be looking for them to like this guy took my Venmo last night. He didn't send me anything, and it's a hurt feeling. I got it.
Oh, okay. Let me take a look.
You have to because see they're gonna ask you for my last 4 digits. That's why you would have to. Wait a minute.
I should be able to find it with your name, but I have to get. I'm working right now, so I have to jump back on. But I will hop on the app. God bless, ma'am. All right. Okay, so here we are. We are still in BLM Plaza. Um, like I said, we're the only people out here right now. Um, and it does seem, as somebody who lives in Washington, D.C., and I'm sure this is an experience shared by other people who are in other cities, that the homelessness population has increased significantly. It increased very significantly in recent months, and of course, that's almost certainly due to the pandemic. It feels like it feels like crime has increased. I'm sure there are some stats to bear that out, but you just more and more what just happened right here on this live stream is it seems to be happening every single day. Um, and that woman was very polite. I'll almost certainly send her something on her Venmo. Um, but it does seem like that's happening more and more. This is really interesting right here. This is PJ Clark's. It's right across from the St. Regis, extremely fancy hotel here outside the White House. You can imagine the kinds of people that stay there normally. I can't emphasize enough how unusual it is that this is an August night, height of DC tourism season, before some people end up back in school. There is just absolutely nobody right now. After weekends of clashes with police, violent clashes with police, there's nobody out here, no protesters, and a restaurant like PJ Clark's that normally has a big patio area here, locals and tourists, totally closed. Totally closed. The Starbucks is boarded up. And one thing that I wanted to talk about on the stream, and again, feel free to pass along any questions. I'll look at them as I'm talking. The thing I wanted to mention was that there's some debate happening right now, and I imagine this is going on in other cities, and I think it's an important thing to address. There have been um, people. Somebody tweeted over the weekend, and it went kind of viral that DC has an eerie feeling right now, that people are, quote, whistling past boarded up buildings. And that proved to be controversial because a lot of DC locals tweeted pictures of themselves at parks or in their neighborhoods, saying, wow, DC, sarcastically, DC is such a mess. And in certain neighborhoods, it is totally untouched. I mean, maybe you can see the economic impact of the pandemic, but it's totally untouched by any violating or riots or protests. But here downtown, there are a hell of a lot of boarded up windows, a hell of a lot of them, and it is very eerie. There does seem to be an increase of homeless people, and coupled with the decrease in tourism and general foot traffic, it's a very strange sensation to be here on a summer night and to have. I'm going to turn the camera around again. Look at that. Look at that. I've lived here for 9 years. I've never seen anything like that. And it's not all because of protests. It's mostly because of the pandemic. But there are a lot of boarded up windows in this neighborhood. Just about, I'd say in this block, this like 3-block radius around BLM Plaza and Lafayette Square, more windows are boarded up than not. So it depends on where you live, but the point is, cities are big, and a lot of them are being touched by violence right now. And just because it doesn't touch every single part of the city, it's really idiotic to act as though because certain parts of the city are entirely untouched by violence and the destruction. I mean, in late May, after George Floyd's killing, there was a dichotomy. There were some protests around here that were very big, but also very peaceful, and there were a lot of people. So I'm not sure how that worked with COVID, but there were also some demonstrations. I was here back then when there were fires set in the middle of streets. In the middle of the streets, I saw the chemical irritants, go into being sprayed into people's eyes who were getting way too close to the police line. And I've seen. You can go back on our channel. You can go back on our channel and you can see the protesters screaming in the faces of Black police officers. It's fairly unbelievable, and I recommend you go check out some of those videos. This strip of 16th Street has been the scene of some really crazy stuff this summer. Right now, totally quiet. But over the course of the entire summer, that hasn't been the story every single night. So we will continue to keep you all updated on the situation downtown. I'm going to show you the view north right now. Police car. This is rush hour, mind you, roughly what rush hour, or a little bit after that. But really nothing going on. That's straight up 16th Street. There's the view. Boarded up PJs and Starbucks. And there again. There again is the White House. It's nothing. There's nothing going on. It's quiet. Like I said, we'll keep you all updated on the situation. Recommend that you stay tuned to our channel because we're trying to bring you real on-the-ground interviews. If you've seen our coverage in Kenosha last week, Evita Duffy was down there getting interviews with actual parents and business owners in the Kenosha area when a lot of the corporate media left. Evita Duffy was there capturing, the aftermath, talking to locals themselves, and so we're trying to bring you a lot of that reporting on this channel. I think that's extremely important. As somebody who has covered some of these situations, I've seen what happens. I've seen the difference between what's reported and what's happening when you're actually here. And so we're trying to bring you as much of that as we possibly can. So stay tuned to the channel, and we hope that you certainly find it helpful.